the message is anybody can participate in this. It, actually makes a very formal invitation at the end of the book where it says, if nobody has asked you or invited you to be a part of the climate movement, consider this your very warm welcome. It calls not just for leadership and for, policy advocacy, but it also calls for, things that we might not have expected, like, culture change. Um, Leilani and Ellie, particularly, Ellie, you come at this from a literature perspective. Leilani, you come at this from, a world that is very different from academia. You are looking at culture and culture making all the time. How do you feel like this book sort of informed how you might participate in climate change activism?
Yes, it was a breath of fresh air actually to hear that conversation come up, and also to hear about the art and the culture that has already been created and is being created to not just to highlight this cause or this topic, but to kind of using art and culture to engage, right? To really draw on those heartstrings, as Ellie had read the poem, because having those elements is intrinsically woman and female, but it is also what hooks and grabs us to act. And I do believe, I was mentioning to my husband, we've had this conversation many times before, you're constantly seeing movies about the end of the earth or moving to space, and you never really see, except for, and they mentioned this in the book, the Black Panther, this utopia of living creatively and with the land and off of each other. It's like, these are not ways of the future that are shown to us. And even from a neuroscience point of view, where you see to believe and mirror neurons, we're not seeing in our day-to-day, in our culture, hope really, or solution really. We're only looking to the dim and doom, and none of that is creating a place to think that we can do anything, or b, that we have something to say about it.
That's exactly right. It's like it's a lot. One of the writers points out it's so much easier for us to imagine like moving to an entirely different planet than just working on our own planet, and what does that say about us? um, and, I think some of the most surprising essays in the book for me were the ones that really homed in on that cultural change that needs to happen. They're asking the question, why aren't we seeing different stories about climate change on TV shows, on film, in performance art, visual arts, in games? And that's something, that makes climate change really real for people and makes it feel really urgent and something that is happening all around you and not just something, for somebody else to worry about. So I think that's such an important area that, a lot of us, especially, so three of us here work in academia, we can forget that, because we're talking about science every day. We forget that data isn't really what moves most people. Most people are moved by stories about, other people that they can relate to, who are dealing with climate change.